We all have these big ideas, right? Anything from launching a new app to planning a wedding, or even just building a deck in the backyard. But how do we actually get from that little spark of an idea to a finished real-life thing? Well, the answer is a project. And today, we're going to break down the basic framework that helps you build, create, and get things done, one step at a time.
But first, let's start with a question I think we've all asked ourselves at some point. You have this brilliant idea, a crystal clear goal in your mind, but somewhere between the concept and the finish line, everything just falls apart. Why is actually doing the thing so much harder than dreaming it up? The answer, a lot of the time, comes down to something called the cascading effect. Think about it like this. Imagine you're building a house, but you find out way too late that the foundation is just slightly off-kilter. Well, now the walls won't line up, the roof isn't going to fit, and suddenly your costs are spiraling out of control. That one tiny mistake at the beginning created huge problems down the line, and that is exactly why just winging it is usually a recipe for disaster.
So to avoid that whole cascading failure, we need some structure. And the very first step is to get super clear on what a project even is. Okay, here's the official textbook definition. Now I want you to focus on just two words here: temporary and unique. A project isn't some routine job you do over and over again forever. It has a clear endpoint. And its whole purpose is to create something that didn't exist before, whether that's a new website or a community garden. So what are the ingredients? Well, every single project has a clear start and a clear finish. That's the temporary part. It's going to need resources, things like money, time, and people. It involves juggling a whole bunch of different tasks, and this is a big one. It is full of uncertainty and risk because you're always trying to create something brand new.
And this is a super important distinction to make, the difference between projects and operations. A project is that one-time push to create something new, like designing and building a new electric car. Operations, on the other hand, are the ongoing, repetitive things that keep the lights on. That's the assembly line churning out that car every single day. It's just business as usual.
So if projects are naturally kind of risky and complex, how in the world do we get them under control? Well, that brings us to the discipline that was designed to do exactly that: project management. So what is project management? It's not magic, I promise. It's a discipline. It's really just a structured way of applying knowledge, specific skills, and tools to steer a project through all the chaos and make sure it actually hits its targets.
And this discipline is more important today than ever before, because we live in what people call a VUCA world. That stands for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. In a world where everything's changing so fast, where things are hard to predict, well, project management isn't just a nice to have. It's pretty much the essential map for navigating all that chaos.
But how does this all work in the real world? At the heart of managing any project, there's a constant, delicate balancing act. Think about it for a sec. If you're the one in charge of a project, what are the main levers you're always pushing and pulling to keep the whole thing on track?
The answer is what's famously known as the triple constraints. First, you've got scope. That's what are we actually building? Then there's time. How long do we have to do it? And of course, cost. What's our budget? Now, these three are in a constant tug of war. If you pull on one, the other two are going to move. If you want more features, it's going to take more time or cost more money. And kind of holding it all together is this unspoken fourth constraint: quality.
And this really gets to the heart of it. What does a successful project even look like? It's hitting this exact sweet spot. You delivered what you said you would, when you said you would, for the price you agreed on, and it actually works the way it's supposed to. That's the bullseye. And to get to that bullseye, almost every project moves through a predictable life cycle. It all kicks off with the official green light in the initiating stage. Then you create that detailed roadmap in planning. Executing is where the team actually does the work. All the while you're monitoring to make sure you stay on track. And finally, the closing phase is where you formally wrap it all up and hopefully learn some lessons for next time.
So, who's the person responsible for guiding the project through all of these stages? Well, that's the project manager. And they've got a specific set of skills and a couple of really key documents in their toolkit.
A great project manager really has to live in two different worlds at once. On one hand, they are masters of process, all about planning, tracking, and organization. But on the other hand, they have to be leaders, great at communicating, delegating, and managing the people who are doing the real work. It's that mix of technical and people skills that really makes them effective.
So the first big tool in their kit is the project charter. Honestly, the best way to think of this is like the project's official birth certificate. It's the formal document, usually coming from the sponsor, the person funding the thing, that officially says, yes, this project exists, and gives the project manager the authority to actually get started. It lays out the big picture stuff, goals, budget, and timeline.
Now, if the charter is the birth certificate, then the project management plan, well, that's the super detailed instruction manual. This is the big one. It's the comprehensive guide that lays out exactly how the project will be done, how it'll be monitored, and how it'll be closed out. It's got all the nitty-gritty details, schedules, budgets, milestones, and crucially, a plan for how to handle changes when they pop up.
Okay, so after all of that planning, all the executing, and all the balancing, how do we finally know if we were actually successful?
Let's bring it right back to our main point here. Because true success isn't just about crossing the finish line, it's about delivering real value. Did you build the thing the client actually needed? Did you get it done on time? And did you stick to the budget? Nailing all three of those, that is the mark of a truly well-managed project.
So, with this whole framework in your back pocket, I'm going to leave you with one final question. Whether it's launching a startup, organizing a community event, or even just finally tackling that big home renovation, the principles are exactly the same. So, what's the next project you're going to manage?